welcome to The Best Of. I'm your host, Ricky Tucker. The Best Of focuses on the best in the areas of business, entertainment, sports, and the community. And it's our pleasure to have our guest today, Mr. Jamien Sill. He's the CEO of Neimaj, LLC. And today's topic is realizing your dream. Jamien is an amazing designer, and you're going to see how amazing he is in just a moment. Jamien, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me on.
Okay, it is our pleasure. And we've got a lot to cover, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born in Clarksdale, Mississippi, not too far away from here in Memphis. I grew up on the campus of Tougaloo College in Jackson, Mississippi, and then my mother and I moved to Memphis when I was 8.
Oh, wow.
And so I've been here since then.
So you were a scholar even before you got into high school, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty much predestined for me to go to college, so I didn't have a choice.
Awesome. Well, that's good. Young people, you hear that right away. So it's great to put that pressure on yourself. And moms and dads and guardians out there, you heard that. He didn't have a choice. So we want to make sure that we go ahead and get that in. Let's talk about what it is that we came here to talk about today. And that is the fact that you are a footwear designer, and I understand that you've been interested in footwear and designing footwear from an early age. So about how old were you when you thought about designing your first shoe?
I was 8 years old, and that was actually the first year I moved to Memphis and really got into basketball and Michael Jordan, and I fell in love with the shoes and started drawing them. I begged my mother for a pair, and she told me if I made straight A's at 6 weeks, I could get a pair since they were $100. So
wow.
I did, and so that was my first pair of Air Jordans, and that led me into my love of shoe design.
Wow.
And I've been designing ever since.
You know, that's a really different twist because, you know, most young people look at sports and they want to be like Mike and they want to be like everyone else that they see. But you took a different twist, which was really amazing. And not to take anything from those particular athletes or the other individuals, but I've got to tell you that I really am proud, and it's really exciting to hear that you looked at that from a different perspective. Now, you were raised in Clarksdale, you moved to Memphis. Tell us about where you attended high school.
I went to high school at East High School, 7 through 12, so I'm what they call a pure blood Mustang. I was there the whole time, so I'm still very supportive of the school. And
well, that's pretty exciting, and you know, it's amazing how and when you find things out, because I too am an East High Mustang, so that's pretty exciting. So ladies and gentlemen, you're getting a double dip, so that's great. Now you moved on from high school to college. Where did you get your formal education, your secondary education?
I did my undergrad at Washington University in St. Louis. I did a dual degree in graphic and advertising design. Graduated in 2001.
Which of the two did you enjoy the most? Because it sounds like you're a pretty amazing guy.
The advertising design was the most challenging, so I enjoyed it the most. It pushed me out of my box or my boundaries I set up for myself and made me really, really think. And it's really been instrumental in being able to kind of translate that into the entrepreneurship of designing.
Okay, and we're going to show some of your work a little bit later and have you to really explain and get a little bit more into detail. But the one thing I'd like to just kind of stop here and say is that we're just maybe 5-10 minutes into the show, and already you're proving to view and look at things a little bit differently. You know, you looked at basketball and you said, I want to design those, and then you said that when you were in school, the major that was the most challenging, most of us, I know me, those classes that were most challenging for me, I ran from them, but it seems as though you gravitated towards that. So that says an awful lot about you. And Mom, thank you very much for pouring all of those smart genes into this young man. I'm sure that down the road when you launch and some things happen, then there are going to be a lot of other people that are going to be really excited about what you're doing. So talk to me about what happened after college, after your college years.
Well, after my college years, I did an internship all 4 years while I was in school at AutoZone here in Memphis as a graphic designer, and it was a part of the Memphis Challenge program, which I was in from high school all the way through college. And,
oh, great.
I moved back here to work, but unfortunately, due to some restructuring, the department I was in was actually terminated the day I got home.
Wow.
So that was a bit of a blow, but it put me on the track. I didn't realize what kind of track it put me on, but I went back to Champ Sports, where I worked from when I was 16, and became a manager, and that really pushed me as far into the shoe industry quicker than I thought.
Wow.
And it gave me that some invaluable access to customers. You know, being with them on a one-on-one basis every day and hearing their insights really planted a foundation that I didn't realize at the time, but it planted a tremendous foundation.
Wow. So what I was hearing all the time is that you really came here kind of as that eaglet to go and get into the nest, but quite honestly, it sounds like you were strong enough to not even have to worry about being in the nest. So it just really forced you out of that nest early and allowed you to be the eagle that I'm kind of giving you that name, but to really give you those wings to do the things that you were really destined to be and do. So that sounds pretty good. And we're going to show everybody, because I'm pretty excited about the opportunity to show everyone some of your designs. But before we go any further, there's got to be a way for people to get in contact with you and maybe see your work. Do you have your email address? If you could maybe give us the email address and your Facebook or anything like that. Do you have that?
Sure. It's can be reached at facebook.com/Neimaj, Neimaj, or at www.neimaj.com, or we can be reached by email at backtoyourroots, the number 2, yourroots, ROOTZ @Neimaj.com.
Okay. How about a phone number, which is always good and easy? Okay, we'll give them. We'll make sure to give you mine.
Okay.
People, you can see that he is really in high demand already. He just doesn't want the lines to be flooded. I'll make sure that I give you my email address and my contact number. If you do have any questions for Mr. Sills, that is my email address is rixinternational@msn.com, and my phone number is 901-870-7492. In the event that you have any questions or any information that you'd like to share with Mr. Sills, because I'm sure by the time the show's over, you're just going to be a little bit curious about, wow, how did you come up with these designs and what really inspires you? Let's talk a little bit more about any advice. You mentioned Memphis Challenge, and I think that's an awesome organization. Ms. Webster is an awesome lady and doing some awesome work. But as you think in terms of inspiring young people to do or to realize their dream as you have, what bit of advice would you share with them?
Well, first and foremost, it's find your passion and follow it. I mean, whatever you love to do, as long as it's in legal realms, you should follow that and make that your life passion and what you should tailor your career around, what makes you happy.
Okay. Now, obviously, when you designed your first footwear, and I've been saying shoes, but I'll correct that and say footwear. When you started developing your first designs, there were probably some hiccups and a few mistakes, if you will, along the way. What's the best way for someone, a young person that's really trying to develop a talent? What would be the best way that you would share with them to perfect that talent?
When I started, I was terrible. I was absolutely terrible, and I'm not afraid to admit it.
Can't tell it now, though.
But it's all about practice and preparing. It's repetition, doing it over and over again, and just really wanting it. I didn't take an art class until I got to college, so I taught myself how to draw, and It made it a lot easier because, you know, you develop your own style and you constantly pushing yourself. But when I was out of school, and I think there was no school for shoe design. Well, I think there is one now, but there is no school for shoe design when I was going through undergrad. So I was basically teaching myself that, and it's just finding all the resources that you possibly can, and just constantly pushing yourself and trying to improve. And it helps when you compete against others. And we competed on the internet, monthly shoe design contests. So it was constantly putting yourself up against the best and seeing how you stack up.
Okay. Now you talked about contests and competing against other people. I think something new has taken place. There's a bit of new news that you were sharing with us earlier. Would you be willing to share that with our listening audience?
Absolutely. I was just a winner of a business grant from the Miller Coors Corporation, and it's called the Miller Coors Urban Entrepreneurship Series, or the MUSE series, and it's a nationwide business plan competition. And I entered back in October and had to go through several interview and competition processes, but we were just announced a winner in Chicago last Thursday.
Okay. All right, so this is new. So this would have been in the month of March 2012 that you've received that distinguished award. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
And I'm sure that you and all of those that are involved with you are really excited about that. So hats off to you. Now, the viewing audience gets an opportunity to obviously see you, and we're talking and all. I'm seeing something that's pretty unique on your shirt there. Tell us about what that is.
That's the company's logo.
Okay.
And it's a stylized N, and came up with that when I was in college. Neimaj was actually my senior thesis project.
Wow.
So I had to do a project that satisfied the requirements for both programs, so I simulated starting my own shoe company, and that's where Neimaj was actually born.
Wow. So you really started that quite some time ago. Now, Neimaj to me is a unique name. I've never heard that before, and quite honestly, it's pretty intriguing. So how did you come up with the name Neimaj?
Neimaj is my first name backwards.
Wow.
And I was inspired by a friend of mine in college who was a anonymous poetry writer. He was trying to protect his rep, so he wrote his name backwards.
Wow.
And also by Oprah Winfrey and her Harpo. So that was my inspiration for that. So I turned my name around and put a kind of a French enunciation to it because my mother's a French teacher, so that was kind of homage to her.
Wow. That is awesome. You know, a lot of people talk about heroes and heroines. It sounds like your mom is just an incredible woman, and she's just really made a major impact in your life.
Oh, of course. My mother is definitely my hero.
That's awesome.
She's raised me by herself for 30 plus years, and